Hi everyone, I just got back recently from my sailing on the Disney Wish with my family, and I cannot wait to break down all the things that we did and some things that you'll want to know if you're planning to set sail on Disney Cruise Line in the future. This installment is going to be all about Embarkation Day, which is the day that you get on board, you start to explore the ship, and I'm going to walk you through everything that we did, some tips on how to spend that time, and things that you're not going to want to miss or forget to do in order to ensure you have an awesome adventure at sea. Stay tuned. Now, when you are getting to the port to get on your ship, there are a lot of things that you're going to need to know. First of all, you're going to want to make sure you have really great transportation that will get you to the port where you need to be. I always recommend preparing for that in advance, whether it's through Disney Cruise Line's transportation or a private service. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. We decided to go with a private service. It was actually more affordable than taking the Disney buses from the Disney hotel we were staying in out to Port Canaveral, and for our family of 6, it just seemed to work out better for us. Once you get to the cruise port, you want to make sure that you only arrive there when it is time for you to get on board. When you did your check-in, as you saw in my previous video about checking in, it will get you a port arrival time. That arrival time is usually about a 30-minute window. It's going to tell you when you should arrive at the port. If you get there earlier than your arrival window, you will be waiting quite a while. And depending on the port that your ship is in, you may or may not be waiting inside or outside. There may or may not be places to sit. So my best advice is don't plan to get to that port location before your port arrival time if you don't want to wait, and just be very patient when you get there. We had a pretty slow check-in process when we were getting to the port. We were arriving around 1 o'clock, right at our port arrival time. We were able to get into a line for our group to enter into the terminal, and that line still took us another 20-25 minutes, and that was outside and getting inside. So keep in mind, you are going to have a bit of a waiting process. I do think that this one was a bit of a slower one than usual, but either way, don't arrive too early or you're going to find yourself kind of in an uncomfortable situation. Once you get through, they're going to check your passes, that you either have the QR code on your phone or the printout copy. I recommend having a printout just in case something happens with technology. Technology is technology after all. But once you get in there, they're going to check that all of the guests match to the boarding documents that you have, and you're going to go through a traditional TSA type boarding process. You're going to have your bag checked through, whatever you have with you. All of your other luggage that you checked with those luggage tags that they sent you in the mail, that can all be dropped off right at the front. When you arrive, our driver actually took care of that and handed it right over to the Disney Cruise Line group, and they took our checked bags and big bags on board for us. So all we had were a couple backpacks and things that we wanted just for the first couple of hours of being on the ship. Once you get through that process, you go to a check-in counter, and here they're going to make sure that your magic bands are linked to your stateroom if you have those. If not, they're going to make sure that everything else is coordinated. They're going to check your passports, your birth certificates, any documents that you have. They will check those through thoroughly for you before then sending you onto the gangway to board your ship. This is when the excitement really got going for us. We were really excited to take some family photos before we got on board. And then once you walk into the main atrium area of a Disney cruise ship, doesn't matter which ship it is absolutely magical.
Disney Wish, please welcome aboard the Beck family!
The Wish is truly a castle on the water, and you feel it as soon as you get on board your ship. So once you take it all in and you're having the oohs and the ahs and everyone's excited, what do you do next? There's a lot of different things that you can do, but there's also a few things that you need to do when you get on board. So first, if you're hungry, go get some food. You can expect higher crowds in Marceline Market, which on the Disney Wish is going to be kind of that buffet style, cafeteria style place on the upper decks. We did go there and just got a quick snack. It was kind of like early afternoon. We were hungry, but we knew that we had dinner at 5:30, so we didn't want to over commit to food, but we needed something to eat, and we went up there and it was wonderful. There were a lot of people up there as well. Did not have a problem finding seats right by the windows overlooking the water. It was a wonderful quick snack break and kind of rejuvenating the family. Because of our boarding time being around 1 o'clock, our cabin was actually ready early for us. So we went and we checked it out. You can see a room tour here of our deluxe ocean view stateroom with veranda. This was home base for us for our sailing, and it was wonderful. There were 4 of us in this room. My parents joined us on this trip, and we had a connecting room with them. And the nice thing was, once we got to our staterooms, they were able to remove the partition between our verandas, and we had one long veranda that we could enjoy between both staterooms, which was really nice. Let's take a peek inside this room. As you can see, on one side, there is a very large closet space. This is going to have multiple areas for hanging your items, extra storage for things that are folded in the middle, a safe, and the number of life jackets that you need for each guest in your sailing. From there, you will go ahead and see on the opposite side is the split bathroom setup. This is going to be one side with a sink and toilet combination, and the other is going to have the other sink and a full tub and shower combination. This is a huge benefit that Disney Cruise Line offers. Lots of space for getting ready. This room also comes with a queen size bed with storage and plugs on both sides, as well as a sofa that folds down into a single and a berth above that will fold down for the bunk space. This will sleep up to 4 guests in this room. Again, more storage and places to hide your things and hang your things, as well as a beautiful veranda view, and this is where my family spent most of their time. All right, so you check out your room. The luggage is probably not going to be there right away, but it's usually there by 3 o'clock, and that was exactly true for us. We came back a little bit later, and the luggage was waiting outside, and that was great. So just know that it's going to take a little bit more time. So if there are things you need with you, medications, maybe you want some extra sunscreen or even swimsuits if you're wanting to go to the pool right away, keep that in kind of a carry-on bag with you when you board the ship. Okay, so 3 o'clock. What happens at 3 o'clock? The muster drill. 3:30 is usually when the muster drill happens, and this is something that is a requirement for all cruisers. And on Disney Cruise Line, what that means is they're going to announce and let you know that you need to go to your muster station. Depending on your stateroom location, you will have a different muster station, and everyone in your group has to go and attend this experience. It's very simple. It's a place where they will gather people together to make sure that everyone is hearing the emergency steps and what you need to do in case of an emergency, talking about life vest safety and how to use and operate those, and what to do if you hear certain blasts from the horn or signals that there is an emergency. This is truly a safety precaution. It is something that you have to do, just like when you're on an airplane and you have to listen to the safety briefing. The muster station, the muster drill, is something that everyone on board must go to, and as soon as you get it done, you're back to having all the fun. Ours took about 20 minutes. We got to sit down and actually in 1923, the restaurant, listen to the information, and then we were up and out and we were done with that. Now, this gave us about a 30 minute window before the sail away party was happening, and we knew we wanted to get up to the top decks and get a good viewing spot for the sail away party. This was a first Disney cruise for my family and my first ever cruise for my kids. And so we got a prime location, kind of on the one deck just above where the stage is. Great views of funnel vision, great views of the performers and the cast members, and it was such a fun time. We were dancing, we were singing, we were counting down, and hearing that amazing horn blast. It's just part of the whole sail away experience, so do not miss out on the sail away party. It really does make it feel like you're kicking off your vacation.
Here we go!
4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, after the sail away party, we had about an hour and 15 minutes before we needed to go to dinner, and we wanted to make sure that we got a little time to explore the kids clubs. My kids on the sailing were 8 and 5, and I knew they were going to love spending a little bit of time there. And the open house time is great for families. This is one of the few times that you can actually go in and explore those kid spaces with your children. The rest of the time, when you do drop your kids off during your sailing, those spaces are only for the kids and for the cast members and coaches that are in there helping kind of keep the activities going, keeping everyone safe. So you're going to want to register your kids on that first day during open house for the kids club, which means you're going to be able to drop them off, pick them up anytime that you want. You don't need to make reservations for the kids club unless you're using the nursery, which is a whole separate thing. It's a Small World nursery. But otherwise for the kids clubs, you can just drop off, pick up whenever you feel like it, which is such an awesome flexibility when you're sailing with kids. My kids devoured this open house. They were going into every room, looking at all of the games, looking at all of the amazing Star Wars creatures and the different arts and crafts and the Imagineering lab. There was so much for them to see, and it was great for us to take a peek at it and get an idea of what they would be doing while they were in the kids club. So we did that. We got ourselves changed and ready for dinner. You will find out your dining rotation, the order of your dining rotation, when you connect to the ship's Wi-Fi and you get on board. That's when we found out that our first night was going to be dinner at Marvel. This was going to be one that our family was a little less excited about, to be honest, because none of us are big Marvel fans. My husband and I enjoy them, but we're not huge fans of that franchise and those movies. And my kids are still a little too small to really understand the full Marvel IP. They know Spidey and Friends, they know Spider-Man, there's a few, key characters, but people like Ant-Man, who features prominently in this show, is not a character that my kids have any understanding of. But what I will say is, even without being huge Marvel fans, Worlds of Marvel was a really fun dinner experience. The food we really enjoyed. I would say out of the 3 restaurants that we ate at, it was my least favorite in terms of food, but the entertainment was great. The kids were really engaged in the interactive elements, and they loved everything that they ate, which as a parent makes my life so much easier. So we really enjoyed Worlds of Marvel. At the end, Spider-Man did come around and give high fives and chit chat with all the different groups and tables. So it was a really fun way to get a character moment while we were at dinner as a family. Now, of course, after dinner, what did my kids say? Can we go back to the kids club? And I said, yes. So we dropped them off at the kids club, and there are 2 ways to drop off at the kids club on the Disney Wish. I did not know this until I set sail, so hopefully this helps you if this is news to you. First, you can go to the slide it's right in the atrium, right off of where you see the stage and the big chandelier and the Cinderella statue. And you can check them in there. They will scan the magic bands that the kids have. They will check your magic band, and they'll validate that those kids are being checked in, and they will slide right down into the kids club, and it's so fun. You can also walk down to that lower level and sign them in directly there and have them enter from that point. What I will say is that gets to be a lot more congested because that's the same place that you'll also pick them up. You will pick them up from the main level, 1 level below the atrium. You can walk down the steps right there and get to them, but that's where people are dropping off and picking up at the same time, and that can make it a little slower. So just keep in mind when you do go to retrieve your kids or pick your kids up from the kids club, give yourself a little time. It's not a super fast process because there are a lot of people coming and going and doing a lot of the same things, and they're making sure that everyone is safe, that the right people are picking up the right kids, and that there is a code word that you have with your own children that no one else knows, that is really going to help ensure safety and accuracy with that process. So give yourself a little time. So what did we do? 4 adults, no kids for a little while. We decided to go explore some of the amazing lounges and adult spaces on the Disney Wish, and our first stop, we kind of accidentally happened to cross Hyperspace Lounge. So, being big Star Wars fans in my family, we hopped right in there, we got a table, and just enjoyed the ambiance for about an hour and 15 minutes. We each had a cocktail. We just sat there and took it all in. We enjoyed going into Hyperspace Lounge and going to Lightspeed while we were in there. It was a really fun experience. The cocktails are definitely a little more adventurous, but they also have some, full bar options for you as well. We had a great time there, and then we decided to pick the kids up just in time to go to the show that they had that night. Now, each night of your sailing, there will be a different live theater show in the Walt Disney Theater, and it is something you don't want to miss. Disney does entertainment better than anyone in the cruise industry. I say that having cruised on different cruise lines as well, there is no match to the caliber of talent, the level of quality, and just the high entertainment value that you get on Disney Cruise Line. So go check out the shows. The whole family enjoyed that show the first night. It is so much fun. I could not take any video or photos in there. Here's a quick picture of the theater, but other than that, you're gonna have to go see it to believe it. It was so much fun. It was a 30-minute show the first night, which was just the right attention span for the kiddos, especially after a long day. From waking up at Disney World to traveling out to the port to getting settled and to setting sail, it made for a really long day. So after that, the kids were kind of calling it a night. We decided to sit on our balcony and enjoy a quiet evening in our stateroom. The next day, we were waking up in Nassau and we had some big plans to explore the ship. So if you want to see all about our first full day at sea, docked in Nassau, and what we did with our time, including a few special experiences for the kids and even my husband, stay tuned for the next video that'll be dropping next week. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and share this video so that I can continue to bring more fun content from our own adventures that can help you plan your next awesome adventure as well.